Today I want to talk to you about something a little more serious than rugs and paint colors. Since it's a little more serious, I decided I would lighten it up with something we are all familiar with, Legos. Everything is awesome. I need to find a woman first. Let's see here. Not a woman. Is that a woman? Helicopter? Ah! I found some hair. Nope. Man. Is it at all obvious that I have boys? Woman? No. Stormtrooper. Butler guy and Batman. Guy I don't know because I haven't seen that Star Wars yet. Stormtrooper. Ah, there's a lady. Okay. Give her some hair. There we go. A lady. Now, before I had kids, this was me, and we'll say this was Chris. That could be Chris, I think. And I was pretty much, and Chris was pretty much just trotting around the world, doing what we wanted to do. If I had tape, I would, oh wait, I do have tape, hold on. Ha! Look at this. They're little globes. Little did I know, I would be taping a Lego me onto a globe. Got our globe tape. Whoa. This isn't tape. Oh wait, nope, it is tape. Okay. So. Here's Sarah. Just having a good time, spinning around the world. Teaching in Spain, volunteering in India, taking a group of high schoolers to Australia, you get the idea. Then Chris joins the picture, and we move to Turkey. All right, Chris, hop on. Please. Spinning. Ah! Whoops, having a good old time. Then we get back home stateside, and we decide that we are going to have some children. They end up being twins. After this happens, take Chris off, take Sarah off. Instead of feeling like I was circling around and around the globe and I felt on top of the world, I suddenly felt like the world was on top of me. Don't worry, she's okay. Story ends well. What happened when I had kids and I felt like the world had crushed me? What was actually happening was, I don't know if these will connect this way, but I think they will. Whoa, that guy looks angry. Pretend they're not so angry looking. I had completely and totally connected myself to motherhood. Totally connected. That was my identity. I knew that I was struggling. I knew that something was wrong. I knew that I didn't feel right. But anytime I had a negative thought about being a mom, or a complaint, or a questioning, or a resentment even, I immediately pushed that away because I felt like that if I was feeling bad about being a mom, that I was feeling bad about my kids, and that somehow that meant that I didn't love them, or I didn't care for them, or I wasn't a good mom. What I didn't realize at the time, and it took me nearly 6 years to realize, is that being a mom is separate from the love I have for my kids. Let me show you another way. I thought that motherhood and the love for my kids was one and the same. Much like this. That globe tape go. So I thought it was like this. Motherhood and love for kids. I thought this was all one big thing. But it turns out I was completely wrong. What it actually is motherhood and love for kids. Two are separate. They are not one and the same. This is tremendous because This allows you the permission to feel resentful, to feel angry, to feel overwhelmed, to feel frustrated, to feel angry about the things that come along with motherhood and parenthood, but to also still completely love your kids. They are over here. They are safe in a bubble. And this is what I had to realize before I was able to make any real progress in my journey of motherhood and the other things I'm going to talk about in later videos. I had to separate these two. I was constantly talking with my counselor and edging around anything that had to do with the kids. And anytime I was telling a story about the kids or parenthood, I would make sure and follow that negative story up with something like, but it's great, I love having kids, I wouldn't have it any other way. I felt like I had to defend anything I said negative about motherhood. But it turns out you can actually tease the two apart. And it's actually healthy to tease the two apart. This allows your kids to have their own life, their own feelings, and your own experience of your kids, but also your own experience of motherhood. And for the negative feelings to not negate any positive feelings that you have for your kids. When you are able to separate these two things, your feelings about motherhood and your feelings about your children, then it can make it possible for the weight of the world to come off of your shoulders. It did for me. It made it possible for me to vent, to cry, to be angry, to feel regret even, to question having kids, all the while knowing that they were over here in a little bubble, completely safe. None of the venting or the anger or the resentment or any of the negative feelings that I was having about motherhood would come anywhere close to touching my kids, who were over here safe in a bubble, surrounded by love and admiration and gratefulness and joy and every positive feeling that you have about your kids. Now, this was not an easy process. This took me a long time to do and to work through. And I'm hoping that by sharing my story with you, that it will help you to work through it as well. Maybe if you're in the closet crying, or if you're feeling resentment or anger and you don't know what to do with it, or you feel immediately bad for feeling it, I'm here to tell you that you can separate the two things. You as a mom and your love for your kids, your little stormtroopers. As I'm uploading this, I am realizing that I forgot to mention I have a whole podcast episode on this exact topic. I'll drop a link to it in the description below if you want to check it out. It's free. You can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher, Google Play, whatever you have. I'll also put a link to the private Parents Who Facebook group. It's also free, and there's a lot of behind the scenes and fun things there that I don't put anywhere else. Okay,